name is Gowdy and I work as a tax consultant in KPMG. I work in corporation tax, so we have corporation tax or income tax. Income tax tends to be more personal, one-to-one for a client. Corporation tax is more with like a business or a company. So I work in corporation tax and I do both compliance, which is your standard tax return every year, just go through the accounts, see what's changed. Or I also work in advisory, which is a client could come to us and say, we're thinking about doing X, Y and Z, what are going to be the tax problems or benefits if we do it? And we go through all the possibilities and we program everything into a big calculator to calculate everything out so that we can then say, this is the best way to do it if you decide to go ahead. Mathematically, I did maths at A level. I know they don't have that down here, but in the UK, A level leaving cert, same sort of thing. And I then found that has helped, but I know a lot of people have come in with leaving cert accounting, like specifically accounting as opposed to maths, and that's really helped them, specifically in the exams, because you've got to do accountancy exams. Now, I don't have leaving cert accounting, so that at the start I was very anxious that I would be behind almost, because most people were coming in with accounting in some way, shape or form. But I passed my exams this year, so it was fine. You have lectures all throughout the year and you have plenty of textbooks, help. The firms are really good for giving you study leave off. We get 6 to 12 weeks a year paid study leave to help us revise for them and everything. So they're very good with revision classes and everything. And then you sit the exam and you can repeat it if you need to. But I find that day to day, your computer does most of it, being completely honest. You need to be able to double check it with a calculator, but you're always going to have a calculator. So it's more about spotting differences, which is more sort of tax rules as opposed to mathematics. Timekeeping, it's a big one. We have big deadlines at specific times of the year and you need to be able to prioritise, you need to be able to decide whose work comes first based on when the deadline's due, how long it's going to take you, what that client's like. A lot of it you can base on what was done last year, so you'll have a fair idea how complicated it'll be this year because a lot of the compliance is repetitive. But timekeeping's a big one, and teamwork's another huge one because everything's done in a team. So you have right from a partner the whole way down to the first year trainee, somebody in every year all the way through on one team, and every job you do will be in a team, so you have to be able to work with everybody and be able to get along with people. The companies are very good with the social aspect of things, and it's obviously not number one, but it really does help. Like they take in a lot of people every year, so there's maybe a couple of hundred in my year at my age, all having started at the same time, and they have a social event at least once a month that they organise, pay for everything, and everybody goes. And they're really, really big on the work-life balance, so they tend to balance it out. And if you stay late, you get, benefits as a result and things like that. So that's a big one. I really enjoy that. And then the work itself, I just find it interesting. It's different every day, so it's interesting because you don't know what client you're going to get. So I did law at university, and it was a 3-year degree, and towards the end I wasn't really enjoying it as much as I thought I would, and I applied to do my solicitor exams purely because that was what we were told the next step really was, and I didn't know what else to do. But I did a year of my solicitor exams, and during that year I met an old friend from school years back, and she was working in one of the other big 4 firms, and she worked in tax, and she just was telling me how her younger sister was actually currently doing law and was thinking about going the same route, and I sort of thought, oh, okay, never thought about putting the two together, but I looked into it and decided that was more for me when I did a bit of research and I applied. Tax is a lot about legislation, case law, rules, everything, particularly if you're doing it through different countries, which is the most common thing. People have offices or are registered in different countries, and you have to be able to sort out the different tax issues or whatever. So being able to read legislation, understand legislation, look for cases, all of that you had to do in law the whole way through is applied a lot in what I do. Bit of advice would be, don't be afraid to get involved. When you start something new, throw yourself into it, and if you're not enjoying what you're doing, do a bit of research into something you think you might like to do and go for it, because I wish I did it a year earlier.